This is Jana and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making homemade spaghetti sauce, or I should say partially homemade spaghetti sauce. I use some things that are already pre-prepared and I think that it makes a really quick meal, and I hope that this will be something that you like to try yourself at your own family. I've got 1.5 pounds of ground chuck going here. I just started my pan. I'm going to break that up a little bit. And I was waiting to see if there was enough fat in this ground chuck, because sometimes from the store that I got this from, it's quite lean, and it's pretty lean today. And so I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And then I've got a package of hot Italian sausage. Sometimes it comes in links, sometimes it comes in slabs, but you can use hot or sweet or mild, whatever your family likes. And if you don't like Italian sausage, you can leave it out and just use the ground beef, or you can use ground pork. Get that little sheeting off of there and throw it in the trash here. It's a Saturday, so my family's home. And so you're going to hear TVs and doorbells and who knows what else today. But we keep it real. That's what we do around here. It's a busy day. And this is going to brown up. And as it gets about halfway done, I'm going to be adding some onion to it. So we'll come back and when this gets browned up. You all know how to brown some meat. So we're going to do this over medium to medium high heat. You don't want it crispy. You just want it to be cooked through to the point where it's not pink or completely raw, because it's going to boil in the sauce. And so we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. And as you can see, I've got the ground beef and the hot Italian sausage lightly cooked. It's just cooked through. See, it's not dark brown. There's one area right there. But we don't want it to be hard and crunchy, so watch it when you're doing this. I'm going to turn my fire down just a little bit now. And I'm going to add, see that little bit of oil that's in the bottom? It's not really greasy. I want some oil in it, so of that fat that's there, I'm going to add some fresh garlic. Got my handy dandy little garlic shaver. You can shave the garlic because it's razor thin. It's super, super thin. And you can put it onto a cutting board and then mince it up if you want to. But we don't mind. We like lots of garlic, and I know I've said that before. And I'm going to cook that for about 30 seconds till it becomes fragrant. Oh, there it is. Oh, that smells so good. The aroma coming off of that garlic is indescribable. Okay, now I've got 1 medium onion that I have. It's not minced, but it is finely diced. And I'm going to cook this just until it starts to soften, which will be about 2 minutes. And so when this is softened, we'll come right back. All right, we've got our onion softened, and I'm going to add, even though we have hot Italian sausage in there, I'm going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flake, because our family likes a little bit spicy. And cook that for a second. Okay, now I'm going to add 2 cans of, here, I'm trying to get it focused, diced tomatoes, and these happen to have basil, garlic, and oregano already in them, and I always have these in my store shelves. There's a piece of Wasn't very attractive, so I'm going to take it out. I'm going to add 2 cans of that. And if your children don't like tomatoes, you can put those in your blender and blend them up. And then I have a can of crushed tomatoes. You could also use tomato puree. This pot's going to get very full. I just want you to know. Get all of that goodness out of there. Throw all these away. I really try to keep my work area nice and tidy. I'm going to turn my fire down a little bit now to medium low. We don't want it splattering to the ceiling, do we? There. Much better. Okay, we've got our hamburger, ground meat, and we've got our hot Italian sausage. We've added our tomatoes, garlic, and our tomato puree. Normally, after the meat is browned, before I add any of the tomatoes, I have red wine that I add to the meat. I don't drink wine, and so you can buy these little boxes at the grocery store. And this box will make 2 batches. And so I just refrigerate, even though you're not supposed to refrigerate red wine. Since I don't drink it, I just put it in. And then this comes as a little 4-pack, and it's just the right amount. So whatever you can find, whatever you have that's red wine will be fine. And like I said, I normally add it after the ground beef. We've got a lot going on here today. We've got service techs that just arrived and barking dogs. You might hear them again. So we keep it real, like I said. So I'm going to add this now. This is going to simmer. You would really want to add this to your meat when it's done browning, after you've done the garlic and the red pepper flakes and the onion. And then I cook it until I barely can see any wine. But today I'm doing this early, and so it's going to simmer on the stove for hours before we use it. And so that red wine will cook down. Move this out of the way. And now, I don't have any strength to turn lids off of jars, so I've got my handy dandy little jar opener. Just put on the lid and turn it. So I've got, this is to your liking, whatever jarred sauces that you normally use. This one happens to be mushrooms and green peppers. And by the way, you can add mushrooms to this. You can add green peppers, like when you add your onions, whatever your family likes. And then I have, that was, like I said, the green pepper mushroom. This one happens to be a Parmesan Romano. Use what's in your pantry. And this sauce, you can put it in containers and stick it in your freezer, since it makes such a big batch, and use it for those nights when you have no time, you get home late, kids have ball games, volleyball, whatever. I don't have any of those things anymore. My children are grown and we don't have grandchildren yet. So I don't have any excuses, but I do like to cook, like I always have when I did have my family at home, in bulk. Large batches, and then I can freeze it. So this week we're going to have, tonight I'm going to make a chicken parmesan, fast, easy chicken parmesan, not messy at all, and it bakes in the oven. And then this week I'm going to make pasta shells, stuffed pasta shells, and I'll use this sauce again. And then the rest will go in my freezer. So now I'm going to add a little bit of salt. And you're going to want to taste it because it may not need a lot for your family. And then I've got oregano. This is Mexican oregano. You can find it at any store. And it doesn't have to be this brand. It's just Mexican oregano. And it's meant not just for Mexican food. It's really superior. It's very good. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to add a tablespoon of basil. This is sweet basil. And then I have Italian herbs, and that already has parsley, and it's already ground up. And it'll have parsley and thyme and marjoram, rosemary, and 2 kinds of basils. So I don't need to add a lot of that, like maybe a teaspoon or 2. Use what your family likes. And now I'm going to add a little bit of ground black pepper. And you can see it's starting to come up to a simmer now. And remember, we've got all of that meat in there. And if you happen to add green peppers, mushrooms, whatever, all that's going to probably sink to your bottom of your pan. So you're going to want to turn your fire down now that it's come to a simmer. And I'm going to turn mine way down. And I'm not going to put a lid on it because I want it to reduce a little bit, especially since I added all that red wine. Look at that. Yum. And that brand of sauce that I used has quite a bit of sugar in it now that they add to it. And if you want to use your home canned tomatoes, if you want to use plain tomatoes, jarred tomatoes, Italian tomatoes, put in what you like, okay? And so we're going to come back in a couple of hours and we're going to finish this up and we're going to show you how we serve it tonight.